What you will be writing now here? This law was explained by H. Gaussen. Right? Just see these points, what we are discussing here, only that you can write it as an introduction. So in introduction, what you are writing? This law was explained by H. Gaussen, right? And it is also known as Gaussen's first law, right? Because it is the basic law in the economics where all other It is the basic law of economics where all other laws are based on this law. So it is also known as Gaussen's first law. Later, Alfred Marshall popularized this law in a scientific manner. Okay, so this is what introduction you will write here. What is law of diminishing marginal utility? We will discuss that with the help of a table and a graph. So the introduction, this law was first explained by H. Gaussen. It is also known as Gaussen's first law, and Alfred Marshall later popularized in a scientific way. Now let us see what the law explains over here. So we will see the definition here. Next point you will be writing, that is definition. Definition is what here? Additional benefit which a person derives by consuming extra unit goes on diminishes with every increase in the stock, that he already has. So here, Alfred Marshall definition you can write here as, so with a person derives from a given increase of his stock of a thing goes on diminishes with every increase in the stock that he already has. So that means what? Additional benefit. When we take one extra unit, obviously we want extra satisfaction. So the extra satisfaction from extra unit goes on diminishes. Means as we consume any commodity continuously, the additional satisfaction which we are deriving goes on diminishes. That's why we call it as diminishing marginal utility. Utility means what? Satisfaction. Diminishing means what? Decreasing. What is marginal utility? Additional satisfaction. So what can we say here? The additional satisfaction from additional unit goes on diminishing. Okay, that is what was explained in this law. Basically, this law in economics is the basis for all other economic laws. Okay, so here what they are explaining, for example, when we consume one apple, now for example, we will take, this is the season of mangoes. When we consume one mango, right, I will get full satisfaction. Means I will be completely satisfied. Immediately, if I take second mango, I may not get the same satisfaction like first one, because already I had one. If I take third one, again, my satisfaction decreases. I will not get same like second one. Fourth mango, continuously I am consuming here. One more point you remember. Here we are consuming continuously. Then only this law is applicable. Okay. So now this is the introduction. You will present this answer in this way only. Law of diminishing marginal utility. First you will write down the introduction. Then you will write down the definition. Okay. Next, you will be writing the meaning of the law. What is the meaning of the law? In simple words, you can write it. No worries about that. What is the meaning of the law? When a person consumes more units of a good. When a consumer consumes more units of a good, the extra satisfaction from extra unit decreases. That is what we have observed here now. Means in diminishing, what they are saying, when we consume one additional unit, like extra mango I have taken, I should get extra satisfaction. That extra satisfaction decreases as I increase the units. That is what the meaning of this law. Okay. And this law explains the relation between quantity consumed and utility derived. This law, what this law is explaining here, what is the quantity we are consuming, because units, how much units we are taking, means as the quantity increases, our utility decreases, right? So from extra unit, our extra satisfaction is our utility. That's why we say this law explains the relation between quantity consumed and utility derived. Okay. And this law is explained in case of a single good. In case of a single good. This law is explained in case of a single good only because it is a basic law. First, we are taking only one commodity. We are consuming that. How much satisfaction we are getting, that is what we are explaining over here, right? These points you will write for your meaning. Is it clear, everyone? Right, see. Consumer, when he consumes more unit of a commodity, the extra satisfaction from extra unit decreases. Okay, and this law explains the relation between quantity consumed and utility derived. And this law is explained in case of a single good over here. This completes your meaning. Means simplified way you are writing this answer, where you can score full marks for this answer. Okay, next we will be writing the assumptions. When we explain the law, we make certain assumptions. Based on assumptions only, we can explain the law. Okay, the first assumption is, we assume that consumer is rational. Rational means what? Every time consumer wants maximum satisfaction. As a consumer, we all also will feel the same thing. Whenever we purchase any commodity, even a 1 rupee chocolate also you purchase, you want complete satisfaction from that, right? That is what rationality means. consumer is rational. That means he always aims at maximum satisfaction. What do you mean by rational? Rational means maximum satisfaction. Okay, now another one is utility is measured in cardinal numbers. Cardinal measurement of utility. What is cardinal measurement of utility? Utility is nothing but, in simple terms, we name it as a satisfaction. Our satisfaction is measured in cardinal numbers. Means 1, 2, 3, 4. How much satisfaction I'm getting? 10 satisfaction. How much satisfaction? 20 satisfaction. Like that, we are measuring our utility in cardinal numbers. That is one assumption we are making over here, right? The next one, independent utility. Independent utility means the products what we are taking. Like for example, I have taken mango. Mango is not dependent on any other commodity here, right? It is an independent, means the product is independent. It is not a complementary good. Complementary good means what? Jointly we should use them, right? But the goods what we are taking are independent. Okay, so the next one, marginal utility of money. Marginal utility of money is constant. Marginal utility means what? As we have discussed in our previous class, marginal utility means additional satisfaction from additional unit of money. Whatever the money we are using, extra money you put, the extra satisfaction what we are getting is constant. We are assuming that, right? This is just an assumption. Okay, marginal utility of money remains constant over here. And another assumption here, goods are homogeneous. Homogeneous goods. What do you mean by homogeneous? Goods are of same size, same shape, same color. Same mean one is big, one is small. We do not have anything like that. The goods are homogeneous. Same. Size may same, color same, shape same, everything will be of same. That is called as homogeneity. Okay, if we consume the same type of commodity, then only we can explain this law. That is what we are assuming over here. And another assumption is there is no time lag in the consumption. No time gap in consumption. No time gap means what here? When we are consuming, I'm consuming continuously. For example, I'm taking mango, right? Just an example I'm taking mango. One mango I'm taking now. Or you also can apply this in your real life. When you take one mango, first mango will give you more satisfaction. Immediately you take the second one, you will not get the same satisfaction like first one, right? Third one you have it. Fourth one, your stomach is full now. You don't want to take more. Fifth one, sixth one, continuously you take, what you'll have? Means there is no time gap in consumption. Same thing, if you have time gap, what will happen? Today I will take one, afternoon I will take one, tomorrow I'll take one. We cannot explain this law. So in this law, we assume that there is no time gap in the consumption. Okay. The next assumption is that no change in consumer behavior. No change in consumer behavior. Throughout the law explanation, there is no change in our consumer behavior. Okay. And uniform size of the goods. Uniform size of goods. The goods are of same size over here. Then only we can explain this law, right? And also we assume that the consumers are having full knowledge of consumers are having the full knowledge of market. Why full knowledge of market we assume here? Because when we purchase, for example, same mangoes example I'm taking. When I purchase mangoes in the market, I'm getting for 60 rupees, right? But if your neighbors get it for 40 rupees or 50 rupees, again, in your mind that completely your mind will be disturbed. I got it for high price. I got it for high price. So you cannot derive your satisfaction. You cannot get the maximum satisfaction out of your consumption. That's why we assume that here the consumer, when we are purchasing, we assume that consumer is having full knowledge about the market. Okay, so these are the various assumptions of this law, right? Just see the assumptions over here. We assume that consumer is rational, means every time consumer wants maximum satisfaction. Next, cardinal measurement of utility. We assume that utility is measured in cardinal numbers. The utilities are independent. They are not dependent, not complementary goods. They are independent. Means individually also we can use the goods. Marginal utility of money is constant over here. As we use more and more money, the additional satisfaction is constant. That we are assuming here. These assumptions you have to write after the meaning. Then you will write these points. Homogeneous goods. Goods are homogeneous in nature. No time gap in consumption. When we are consuming the goods, there is no time gap. No change in consumer behavior. Means consumer behavior like our taste and preferences. At one point of time, I like that product. After some time, I don't like that product. Like that, my behavior is not changing. My taste and preferences are not changing. In that case only, we can explain this law. Okay. Uniform size of the goods here. The goods are of same size. Full knowledge of the market. All the consumers are having full knowledge about the market. Means about the price and all. Okay. So this is what are the assumptions of the law. Okay. Now we will do the explanation, illustration of the law. The same steps you follow, it will be easy for you. Like first mean introduction, then definition, meaning, assumptions, then illustration. Illustration means what? How we are going to explain this law, right? This law can be explained. This law can be explained by following table and graph. Now, this is very, very important one. Without table and graph, you cannot explain your law, and that is not valid also. So, you should explain this law with the help of a table and graph. Now, let us see how the table and graph will be there. Right. So, first we will be doing the table. Side by side, you can do that one. In table, what I am writing? Number of units. That means our quantity. Then total utility. Total utility is what? The total satisfaction derived by all the commodities. Means how much we are consuming. From that, how much total utility. Now, the same example we will take here. As I said, this is the season of mangoes. We are consuming mangoes over here, right? From first mango, you are getting 40 utils of satisfaction, right? Because first one, when you take, you'll get more satisfaction. Okay, utils. Why? Because this law is based on cardinal measurement, 40 utils of satisfaction. Second mango we are consuming, our total satisfaction increases. 2 mangoes together, my satisfaction is more. 3 mangoes, 3 I am taking, right? My satisfaction increases to 90 because it is a total, na? Right? So 3 mangoes totally I consume, total my satisfaction is 90. 4 mangoes, 100. 5 mangoes, it is the maximum. 100 is the maximum. Beyond that, we cannot get the satisfaction. From 4 only, I am getting full satisfaction. 5th one also I take, it will be 50 only. When your stomach is full, still you take, what will happen? Your satisfaction decreases. So 6th mango you take, your satisfaction, total satisfaction decreases. You feel like I don't want to consume more. That situation we will get here. Okay. So this way we have the total utility. Now you got it. This is just an example we have taken. Don't say from where these numbers have come. Just remember these numbers. 1 unit 40, 2 units 70, because total 2 together 70 satisfaction, 3 together 90, 4 together 100, 5 units I take, I'll get maximum. 6 units I take, my satisfaction decreases. Okay, now from this we calculate marginal. How you will calculate marginal? Like yesterday we have seen the formula here. Marginal utility is equals to TUN minus TUN minus 1. This is the formula for marginal utility. Marginal means what? Additional. When I take one extra commodity, how much of extra satisfaction I am getting? That is marginal utility, right? From 1, I have taken 1 more. So total 2, 1 extra. How much extra satisfaction I am getting here? Now from the first unit, it will be same. First unit ka to same it will be, right? Second unit, 40 se 70 it has increased. How much it increased? 70 minus 40. How much you will get? 30 is your marginal utility. Now from second to third, how much we have taken? 70 se 90. How much it is increasing? 90 minus 70 is 20. Okay. Third to fourth, 1 unit I increased here. 90 to 100. 100 minus 90. 10. Fourth to fifth, 1 unit I increased. 100 minus 100. Means my additional satisfaction is 0. Now from 5th to 6th, 1 unit I increased, 100 to 90. My satisfaction decreased over here. So what I will get? 90 minus 100 minus 10. So these are the marginal utilities. Means additional utility what we get from consumption of extra units. Marginal utility, additional utility, what we are getting from the extra unit. So you can say this is our marginal utility, right? We have total utility, number of units and marginal utility. If you observe, what is happening to our total utility? As the quantity increases, total utility is increasing. Okay. And total utility is maximum at 5th unit. Now, if you see marginal unit, what is happening here? Marginal unit is marginal utility, additional satisfaction is decreasing. As the quantity increases, additional satisfaction decreases. When total utility is maximum, our marginal utility is 0. Okay. When total utility decreases, marginal utility becomes negative. Same thing we will do with the help of a graph. Graph, very easy graph you can do, and it is very scoring one also. Like x-axis, we will take number of units, and on y-axis, we are taking total utility and marginal utility. Okay. Now, x-axis mein number of units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 we have. So just see, easily you can get it. Get this one. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Number of units, total and marginal utility. I will take it from till 100. It is there now. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Okay. First, what I will do? I will do total utility curve. Graph also very, very important. Don't make mistake in the graph. Okay. Total utility. What for first unit? What is the total utility? 40. 1 is the unit, 40 is the 1. I'll put a point over here. Next, second one, 70. Second one, 70 means between 60 and 80. I'll put a point over here. Third one, 90. 3 units, 90. 4 units, 100. Hope everyone is understanding this one. fifth one 100, sixth again 90. We got the same thing over here. This one I have plotted over here. Just to join these points here. This is my total utility curve. Okay. Now, I will do marginal utility curve. What is marginal utility? For 1 unit, it is 40. For 2 units, what is the marginal utility? 30. 30 means here. 3 units, 20. 4 units, 10. 4 units, 10. 5 units, 0. 6 units minus means it will come down. Okay. It will come here. So what we'll do? We'll join all these points here. So you will get the marginal utility. Got the graph here? Is the graph clear? Now see, table based on the table. This is a simple example we have taken, right? From this example, we have drawn the graph. Now in graph, what you observe? Just see the points here. When total utility is increasing, what is happening to marginal utility? Decreasing. So first point, what you will write? When total utility increases, marginal utility decreases. That is the first point we are observing. Even in table also we see total utility is increasing, marginal utility is decreasing. Okay. Just I will show that one with another color. Right, see. When total utility is increasing, marginal utility is decreasing. Okay, that is first relation we have written. Second, what we observe, when total utility is maximum, marginal utility is becoming 0 over here. At this point, marginal utility is becoming 0, right? So the same thing we will write here. Second point, what we are having, when total utility is maximum, marginal utility is 0. We have observed in the same thing. See, at 5th unit, in the table also we see, at 5th unit, total utility is 100, but my marginal utility is 0. Okay. Now, another relation we can see here, when total utility decreases, marginal utility becomes negative. Okay. When total utility decreases, marginal utility becomes negative. So third relation, what we are explaining here, total utility decreases, marginal utility is negative. Okay. So this is how we explain the graph and the table. What relation we have observed? So in this also you can see, when my total utility is increasing, marginal utility is decreasing. Total is maximum, marginal is 0. When total decreases, marginal becomes negative. Just once you see this graph, okay. So is it clear with this now? How to do the table and graph? Is it clear? Hope everyone understood this table and graph, because this is very, very, very important. And in economics first year, whatever the laws you read, everything is based on this law only. What this law explains? More the quantity, less the satisfaction. So every law is based on this one only. Is it clear? So after, you see here, after the assumptions, you will write down illustration. Means you will do the explanation. After, in this explanation, what you will write? You will write about the table and the graph. Like side by side you can do. And you can give the table and graph explanation. What you will write? Table and graph. You see, as the quantity increases, total utility means when 5 units are taken, 100 is the total utility. marginal utility is 0. Like about table. When total utility is 90, sixth unit is consumed, total utility decreases, marginal utility becomes negative. Same thing you explain in the graph also, curve what you are observing. When TU increases, MU decreases. When TU is maximum, MU is 0. When TU decreases, MU becomes negative. Okay. When consumer is getting negative satisfaction, will he consume the commodity? No. Like we all also see, whenever we get negative satisfaction, we don't want to take it. We don't want to spend our money on that, which will give negative satisfaction. So we can say consumer will be equilibrium at a point where total utility is maximum and marginal utility is 0. So this is about the table and graph explanation. Okay, so now after table and graph explanation, you will be writing limitations. So here we will be writing the limitations. What are the limitations? Now generally when we are explaining this law, we made certain assumptions like cardinal measurement of utility, independent utility, right? Consumer is having full knowledge, marginal utility of money remains constant. But in reality, these all things, if they are not possible, then we cannot explain this law. Okay. So here we can say limitations are nothing but if assumptions are not possible in reality, then this law is not explained. This law will not be applicable. For example, we said consumer is a rational man. Means always consumer wants maximum satisfaction. But in reality, consumer is an economic man. Consumer is an economic man with rational behavior. With rational behavior means what? Economic man. How much money he is spending, for that much money he wants satisfaction. Okay. So that is what I have explained by the law. Means this limitation will be there. Consumer is not rational, but he is an economic man. How much money he is spending, to that he wants maximum. But here we assume always he wants maximum, which is not true. Okay. Then next one, if complementary goods are there. If goods are dependent, like we said, independent utility, na? That is if in case of complementary goods. What are complementary goods? The goods which are dependent on each other, like pen, refill and ink. Without ink, we can't use the pen, right? Those are independent goods. In that case, this law is not applicable because this law is used only for a single good. Okay. So for complementary goods also, this law cannot be explained over here. And one more point, marginal utility of money is not constant. Why it is not constant? Because as we take more and more money, our satisfaction will never be constant. If I get more and more money, I will get more satisfaction, which is against my assumption of this law, right? That's why it is a limitation for the law. And another point is, if goods are not homogeneous. If goods are not homogeneous means what? One product is big, one product is small. Then this law is not applicable. This law will not work. Okay. Then another limitation of the law is, yeah, in case of hobby and in case of luxurious goods, this law will not work. Why? Because in case of hobby, what we are doing, as our hobby, as we do more and more, we get more satisfaction. Our satisfaction will not come down. Like for example, you have a hobby of playing mobile games. As you play more and more, you will get more satisfaction. So this law is not applicable in case of luxurious goods also, like diamonds, cars and all. As we have more and more satisfaction we will get. Our satisfaction will not decrease. So it is against our law. This law will not work in this case over here, right? And another limitation is that if consumer income changes, if there is a change in consumers' taste and habits, if there is a change in consumers' taste and preferences, then this law is not applicable. Because as our taste and preferences are changing, we cannot explain this law. Why? Because in this law, we assumed that our consumer behavior will not change. Okay. So if the consumer taste and preferences are changing, then this law is not applicable. Okay. So these are the limitations. Only these many points you write, that is more than enough. In your textbook, you have more points. That is not required. Means it is very confusing for you. Only these points you write down. Some 6 points are there. This is more than enough. 8 points of assumptions you write. 6 points of limitations you write. That is enough. And one more point you have to write over here. That is importance of the law. Because your question will be, explain the law of diminishing marginal utility with its limitations and importance they are asking. So limitations we have seen. Now let us see the importance. Why this law is important? Those certain limitations are there. Why this law is important? Why? Because it is the basic law in economics. It is the basic law in economics where other laws such as law of demand, law of production, market, these all laws are based on our diminishing marginal utility. Like law of demand, what we will study? More the quantity, less the price. In production, more the labor, less the output. So that way, means here what we are studying, more the quantity, less the satisfaction. Okay. So same thing, this is the basic law in economics where other laws are based on this law. Okay. Production are based on this law. That is why it is important over here. And next point, it helps for the producer. This law is useful for producer to make changes in design, pattern, or size or something. If they want to make any changes, means if people stop buying the products, they can understand that when their sales are decreasing, they can understand that people are getting diminishing utility from this and they can make the changes in their product. So for producer also it will be useful over here. And this law explains the theory of value. Theory of value, what we say? How value will be there for the products. See, when the goods are available more, their value will be less, right? So simple example we can say, when the goods are available more, their value will be less. When the goods are scarce, that means when goods are less available, obviously value will be more. Okay, that is what theory of value is explained. Next one, in this diamond water paradox is explained based on this law. Diamond water paradox. That is also known as theory of value. Why we say diamond water paradox? Because diamond availability is scarce, means they are less in availability number. but the value will be high, right? Diamond availability is less, value is more. Whereas if you take water, water availability is more, but their value is less. Okay, so same thing, more quantity, less satisfaction. So when the quantity availability is more, value will be less. When quantity availability is less, value will be more. We take more valuable goods like that, we say, because their availability is in less quantity. Same thing we have studied in our diminishing marginal also. That is what we say, theory of value. So here we can say diamond water paradox. These are the 4 points you write down. That is more than enough for your importance. Okay. So you can see limitations, importance, table and graph. You have to explain this one in your own words. Okay. Then your assumptions, meaning and assumptions you will be writing. Then introduction and definition. Okay. So your question for this will be, explain the law of diminishing marginal utility. What are its limitations and importance? Every time they are asking this question. Okay. Very simple question. What you will write? First introduction you will write. Who introduced, who explained this law? This law was explained by, first it was explained by H.H. Gaussen. Later on, it was popularized by Alfred Marshall. Okay. Next, definition. Additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase of a stock of a thing. Goes on, diminishes with every increase in the stock that he already has. Definition, you have to butify this definition. Okay. First introduction, then definition. Next, you will be writing the meaning of the law here. Meaning of the law means what this law explains in general. This law explains that when consumer consumes more units of a good, the extra satisfaction from extra unit decreases. Okay. And this law explains the relation between quantity consumed and utility derived. And this law is explained in case of a single good. Right? Next, assumptions. In assumptions, what are the assumptions we are making? Whenever any law is explained, the law will be based on certain assumptions. Okay. So assumptions are, consumer is rational. Always consumer wants maximum satisfaction. And here we assume that utility is measured in cardinal numbers, right? The utility is independent. The goods are independent. Goods are not dependent on each other. Marginal utility of money is constant over here. We assume that marginal utility of money remains constant. Okay. Then, next assumption, we assume goods are homogeneous. Yes, the goods are homogeneous. Homogeneous means what? Same. Means the goods are of same type, same size and all. There is no change in the shape, color and all. No time gap in the consumption here. When we explain the law, when we are consuming continuously, we assume that there is no time gap in the consumption. Then only we can explain this law. Okay. No change in consumer behavior. We assume that there is no change in the consumer behavior. Uniform size of the goods. We assume that the goods are of same size. Full knowledge of the market. We assume consumers are having full knowledge about the market, right? So these are the assumptions over here. Then illustration means what? This law can be explained with the help of a table and a graph. So you should do the table and you should do the graph. Okay, this table, hope you all understood here. Just if you understand this concept, very easy, no need to buttify this answer. You have to understand, then you can write in your own words. You will do the table, side by you do the graph also, right? Now, you have to mention the relation over here. It is the nothing but relation between TU and MU. After table and graph, you should write these points. Okay, right? So, after table and graph, you will write down the relation here. In table, what we have observed, as 1 unit is consumed, 40 satisfaction they derive. As the units increase, more the quantity, total utility increases. Still we increase our quantity, total utility decreases. Beyond, means after 100, our total utility is decreasing. Marginal, what is happening to marginal utility? Marginal utility means what? The additional satisfaction, which is derived, right, from the additional unit. Extra unit, for example, second mango I'm taking. First mango or second mango, say how much extra satisfaction I should get? That extra satisfaction is decreasing. Okay, so as the quantity increases, our marginal utility decreases. Okay, the same thing we have written here. When total utility increases, marginal utility decreases. When total utility is maximum, marginal utility is 0. When total utility is decreasing, marginal utility is negative. Okay, this is how we'll explain here. Then you will be explaining the limitations of the law. Limitations means what? When this law is not working, or when this law will not be useful. Means certain assumptions what we make, if they are not possible, then this law will be not working. So like consumer is an economic man with rational behavior. He is not an economic, he is not a rational man, but he is an economic man with rational behavior. If goods are dependent, like complementary goods, in that case also we cannot explain this law, because this law is explained in case of a single good. Marginal utility of money is not constant. In reality, if you see, if we have more money you are getting, more satisfaction you are getting. Your satisfaction will never be constant. Homogeneous law, if goods are not of same size, same color like that, then this law will not be useful. Okay. And hobbies, in case of hobby means what? Whatever you're doing, you like it. In that case also, this law is not applicable, right? And in case of luxurious goods like diamonds and all, as we have more and more, we will get more satisfaction, not less. If there is a change in consumer taste and preferences, then this law is not applicable. Okay, so these are the limitations over here. Then you can see the importance of the law. Importance is what? This law is the basic law in economics, and other laws are based on this law. Okay, that's why we study this law. Though it is having certain limitations, it is the basic law of consumption, based on which other laws in economics are dependent. It will be useful for the producer. Why it is useful for the producer? To make changes in the design pattern and all. Then it is useful to explain the theory of value. Value, see, whenever less quantity is there, it will have more value. Whenever more quantity is available, it will have less value. Same thing we have observed over here. Like more the quantity we consume, satisfaction is less. Means the value is less over here. And diamond water paradox is explained based on this law only, right? So these are the importance of the law. Clear? So this is about the law of diminishing marginal utility, which is very, very important law for 10 marks. Clear? So when you are presenting this law, you have to present in this format only. First introduction, then definition, next you will write down the meaning of the law. After the meaning, you'll write the assumptions. Assumptions, any 8 points you can write over here. Okay, assumptions you will write. Few more assumptions here. After assumptions, you will explain the law with the help of a table and a graph, right? That is what we write in the illustration. Simple introduction, definition, meaning, assumptions. Then illustration. Illustration where you will be writing with your table and graph. You have to do the table. Okay, quantity, number of units, total utility and marginal utility. Then you will do the graph over here. Then you have to explain the relation. This relation is compulsory. You have to mention the relation here, right? The 3 points in the relation. Don't put these arrow marks, just write the increase and decrease. Okay. Then limitations, because in question they will be mentioning, write the limitations also. So you have to write down 6 points of limitation is enough. And importance of the law. Okay, so this completes your 10 marks answer. Hope you all understood this law. Just practice the law, prepare this answer for today, right? And it's an important question for 10 marks, right? So tomorrow we'll do with another topics here. Okay then, thank you.